I offered my brother a down payment after selling my startup. Then I heard him say, my sister's just lucky. Instead of the transfer, I donated to charity. Now he lost his deposit and still rents a room. Let me tell you guys something crazy that went down last year. So I'd been grinding for like 5 years on this tech startup. We're talking ramen dinners, crashing on my buddy's couch to save rent, the whole 9 yards. Not exactly living the dream, you know? I was working my tail off while my friends were posting vacation pics from Cancun and buying those cute little houses with the white picket fences in the suburbs. My brother Jake, not his real name, Obvi, was always kind of doing his own thing. He jumped from job to job, nothing super serious, just vibing and enjoying life, which honestly, no hate. We all got different paths. Jake's been renting this tiny room in a house with like 4 other dudes since forever, always complaining about his roommates using his Tupperware or drinking his Coors Light from the fridge. Anyway, last December, this massive tech company came knocking on my door wanting to buy my startup. I'm talking life-changing money, y'all. When I saw those numbers on the contract, I literally had to sit down on my IKEA couch before my legs gave out. First thing I did after signing was call my parents, and we all ugly cried together on FaceTime. After treating myself to a sweet little Tesla, because hey, a girl can dream, I started thinking about family. Jake had been talking forever about wanting his own place, so I figured why not help my little bro out? I mean, that's what family does when they come up, right? So I called him up. Yo, Jake, you still looking at that apartment complex off Riverside? I asked. Yeah, but it's way out of my price range, he sighed. Need like 30 grand for the down payment. What if I told you I wanted to front you that money? No strings, just family helping family. Dead silence. Then I heard him choking up. For real? No cap? Absolutely. Let's go check it out this weekend. He was over the moon, showing me all these Pinterest boards with furniture ideas and paint colors. It was the most excited I'd seen him since we were kids, and our parents got us that Nintendo 64 for Christmas. We toured the place together, this gorgeous 2-bedroom with floor-to-ceiling windows and a balcony overlooking the river. The way his eyes lit up, man, felt good to be in a position to do something like that for someone I love. Fast forward to this big family dinner at my parents' place. Mom made her famous lasagna, Dad was pouring everybody glasses of this fancy champagne to celebrate my business success and Jake's new place. I stepped out to take a call from my financial advisor in the hallway when I overheard Jake talking to our cousin in the kitchen. Yeah, I'm finally getting my own place, Jake was saying. My sister's covering the down payment. That's awesome of her, our cousin replied. I mean, she's just lucky, honestly. Everything came easy to her. Some people get all the breaks while the rest of us have to struggle, you know? She probably won't even notice the money's gone from her account. I froze with my phone halfway to my ear. Lucky? Lucky? I'd worked 80-hour weeks for years. I'd missed holidays, birthdays, even my best friend's wedding because I was putting out fires at the office. I'd gone through 3 serious relationships that all ended because I couldn't balance work and personal life. I'd had panic attacks in my car before investor meetings, but sure, I was just lucky. I stepped away before they could see me, my hands shaking as I texted my advisor back instead of calling. I didn't say anything at dinner, just smiled and nodded and passed the garlic bread like everything was cool, but inside, I was seething. Update. Hey Reddit fam, thanks for all the comments. I'm blown away by how many of you have faced similar situations with family. Quick clarification. My brother and I were close growing up, which is why his words hit so hard. Some of you asked if I confronted him right away. I didn't. Instead, I came up with a plan that might have been petty, but felt right at the time. The real question is, would you have said something immediately, or played the long game like I did? The next morning, I woke up still feeling that sting, but I'm not one for direct confrontation, more of a dish best served cold kind of girl. So I made a few calls. First to a lawyer friend, asking about donation tax benefits, then to the apartment complex, canceling my meeting with their financing department. Finally, to a local charity I'd been following that helps underprivileged kids learn coding and business skills. Hi, I'd like to make a donation, I told the woman who answered. $30,000, specifically earmarked for scholarship funds. Oh my goodness, she gasped. That's incredibly generous. I believe in giving opportunities to people who appreciate them, I said, feeling a mix of pettiness and actual pride. I set up the donation to be announced at their annual gala the following month. Then I went about my business, not saying an IE word to Jake. He sent me texts about meeting with a real estate agent and signing preliminary paperwork. I just replied with thumbs up emojis, letting him think everything was on track. 2 weeks later, it was time for him to transfer the down payment. I was sitting by my pool with a white claw scrolling through TikTok when my phone lit up with his call. Hey, what's up? I answered casually. So I'm at the closing and they need the down payment wire confirmation, he said, sounding all businesslike. Can you send me the receipt so I can show them? Oh, about that, I said, taking a long sip. I decided not to do the transfer after all. Silence. Then, what? Is this some kind of joke? Nope. I figured it'd be better for you to achieve everything through your own hard work, without my luck getting in the way. What are you talking about? His voice was rising now. I heard what you said to Cousin Mike at dinner, about how I'm just lucky and everything came easy to me. You're seriously backing out over some offhand comment? I was just talking. And I'm just choosing where my money goes. Turns out I donated it instead, to help young entrepreneurs who actually value hard work and support. But you promised, he shouted, voice cracking. I already signed the papers. I put down a deposit that I'll lose if I don't come up with the money today. And you promised to respect my achievements, I replied, feeling surprisingly calm. Guess we both learned something about promises, huh? He lost it. Called me every name in the book. Well, the PG version anyway. Jake knows I hate actual cussing. Said I was ruining his life over nothing. Asked if my precious startup ego was worth destroying our relationship. It's not nothing to me, I said finally. And it's not about ego, it's about respect. When you're ready to acknowledge that, we can talk. I hung up and immediately got bombarded with texts from my parents, asking what was going on. Apparently, Jake had called them in tears saying I'd pulled the rug out from under him at the last minute. I sent them screenshots of the charity donation confirmation and a voice memo explaining what happened. Mom called me right away. Honey, you know your brother has always been a little jealous of you, but this seems extreme. So was working myself to the bone for 5 years while he told everyone I was just lucky, I replied. Dad weighed in with his classic diplomacy. You both made mistakes here, but the consequences seem a bit uneven, don't you think? That got to me a little. I did feel bad. Not about where I put the money, but about the timing. Maybe I should have told him right after the dinner instead of letting him go through with all the paperwork. But then again, maybe he should have thought about who was footing the bill before trashing my achievements. Update. Holy smokes. This blew up overnight. Reading your comments has me second-guessing myself a bit. Many of you think I should have confronted Jake directly instead of the nuclear option. Valid point. Others are saying family and money never mix well. Lesson learned. The real question now is, did I permanently damage our relationship over one comment? Or was this a necessary wake-up call about how he views me? Because here's where it gets complicated. Jake lost his deposit. About $5,000 he'd scraped together. He had to go back to his room in the house with the roommates. His Instagram went from excited new homeowner vibes posts to radio silence. Meanwhile, I attended the charity gala and got a fancy plaque with my company's name on it. The whole time I was standing on stage, shaking hands with the charity director, all I could think about was Jake's face when he showed me that apartment. Weeks passed. Jake didn't show up for Sunday dinners at our parents'. When I texted him about meeting for coffee to talk things through, he left me on red. Our mom's birthday came around and he sent his gift with a friend rather than risk seeing me. It was starting to feel like maybe I'd gone too far. So I drove over to his place one evening with a peace offering, a 6-pack of his favorite IPA and some Chicago-style pizza from that spot by his old college dorm. His roommate answered the door. Oh, hey, Jake's in his room. I knocked gently on his bedroom door. It's me. I brought Giordano's. A long pause, then, it's open. Jake was sitting at his desk, headphones around his neck, looking tired. His room seemed smaller than I remembered, barely fitting a twin bed and desk with clothes spilling out of a laundry basket in the corner. A far cry from that beautiful apartment we'd toured. Hey, I said, awkwardly holding up the pizza box. Hey, he replied, not quite meeting my eyes. We ate in silence for a while, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Look, I'm not here to apologize for what I did with my money, I started, but I am sorry about how I did it. I should have talked to you right away instead of letting you go through with all the paperwork. Nodded slowly, picking at the label on his beer bottle. I lost $5,000, he said quietly. I know. And my dream apartment. I know that too. He finally looked up at me. What you don't know is that I've been kicking myself every day since, not just because of the money, but because what I said was, he took a deep breath. It was complete garbage. I hadn't expected that. Oh? Yeah, I've been jealous watching you succeed while I'm still figuring things out. It was easier to call it luck than admit you worked harder and smarter than me. When I said that to Mike, it wasn't really about you, it was about making myself feel better. That actually makes a lot of sense, I admitted. Doesn't make it right, he shrugged. And losing the apartment forced me to face some hard truths. I've been drifting, expecting things to just happen for me while you were out there making things happen for yourself. We talked for hours that night, really talked. Not just about the apartment, but about our relationship growing up, about his career goals, about my struggles building the startup. It wasn't an instant fix, but it was a start. A few days later, I sent him information about the Young Entrepreneurs program at the charity I donated to. They're looking for mentors, I texted. Thought you might be interested. You've always been good with people. To my surprise, he replied immediately, actually, yeah, that sounds cool. Over the next few months, Jake started volunteering there while also enrolling in some business classes at the community college. He moved to a slightly better apartment with just one roommate instead of 4. We started having lunch every other week, talking about his classes and the kids he was mentoring. One day, he showed up with a business plan. I've been working on this, he said, sliding it across the table at Starbucks. Would love your feedback when you have time. It was rough around the edges but showed real potential. A service connecting local food trucks with corporate events. He'd already talked to several truck owners who were interested. This is actually pretty solid, I told him, genuinely impressed. The market research needs work, but the concept is strong. I've been learning from the best, he grinned, raising his iced coffee in a little toast. Update. Final update, I promise. Many of you asked for resolution on my brother's situation. It's been almost a year now, and things have taken an unexpected turn. Jake's business idea has evolved into something real, and I've been mentoring him through the process. Some of you suggested I should help him with another down payment to make things right, but that's not the whole story. I've been wrestling with whether to invest in his startup, or if mixing family and business again is asking for trouble. What would you do? Keep the relationship strictly personal, or take another chance on combining family and finances? It's been almost 18 months since that family dinner. Today, Jake's food truck platform is actually getting off the ground, with seed funding from a small local investor. Not me. We both agreed that might complicate things again. He's still in that small apartment, but now by choice. Putting everything back into the business, as he proudly tells anyone who'll listen. As for me, I've launched a second startup, and guess who I consult with on community outreach strategies? Turns out my little brother has talents I never fully appreciated before. Last week, we both spoke at that same charity's annual event. Watching Jake explain entrepreneurship concepts to a room full of eager kids, I couldn't help but think that, maybe in the most backwards way possible, my petty revenge had led to something good. Afterward, we grabbed burgers at Five Guys, and he nudged my shoulder as we waited for our order. "You know, I'm kinda glad you didn't give me that down payment," he said. "Yeah, right," I laughed. "No, for real," he insisted, looking serious. "If you had, I'd still be the same entitled dude, working some random job I hated, thinking the world owed me something. And now I know better," he shrugged. "Nothing worth having comes easy. Except maybe these burgers," he added as our number was called. As we sat down with our food, he raised his milkshake. To my sister, who's not lucky, just badass, I clinked my cup against his. And to my brother, who finally figured that out. We've talked about the apartment situation a few times since then. He admits he was wrong but maintains I went nuclear when a conversation might have worked. I admit the timing of my revenge was unnecessarily cruel, even if the principle behind it was solid. We've agreed to disagree on some parts while acknowledging we both could have handled things better. That scholarship fund I created with his down payment money, it's now named after both of us. Every year, we jointly review applications and select young entrepreneurs who remind us a little of ourselves. Stubborn, imperfect, but determined to make their own luck. And that dream apartment building Jake wanted to buy into? They're selling units again next year. He's saving up for a down payment, by himself this time. But I did offer to help him move when the time comes, because that's what family does. Not just when they come up, but when they grow up too.